What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today's video was inspired by one of the subscribers. When I did the video yesterday regarding Beast, one of my subscribers hit me up through IG. And he asked, hey, was Beast from this barrio? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, you know what? I was there at that time. He said, I was just in a different section and I came from Old Folsom. Old Folsom at the time was a lower level prison. But if you got into some stuff over there, they were bringing you over with us. And we didn't go out of our way to ask the homies that came from Old Folsom to do work. As long as they kept their nose clean, kept their nose out of anybody's business, and didn't raise their hand, they were going to be able to go to the oil with us, be on the yard with us, work out with us, do everything that we do. But they weren't going to be involved in the reindeer games. You know, we weren't going to ask them to do no pegadas, nothing. And so this homie he was there, and he mentioned two dudes. One of which, I think both of them I've actually told stories on, but one of which I told a story where I was burying a piece on the yard and he had walked up to me. He had got hit. He got stabbed in his back by a laundry worker, another homie, so-called homie, over a pair of state pants. And the hit wasn't sanctioned. It was just that coward did that on his own and he hit a really good dude. And I told the homie, he asked me, hey, Holmes, you got a strap? I go, I'm burying one right now. He goes, hey, let me get it. So what happened? He goes, this fucking vato, I don't want to say his name again. He goes, motherfucker hit me over a pair of pants, almost from the back. He goes, and he did it in front of the blacks, in the blacks area. Like he was walking the track through the black part of the yard. And so I said, well, hold up, Holmes. And I went and got at the Shotcaller, the llavero. And I said, hey, this vato he goes, I already know, Holmes. He goes, that shit, fuck that vato. Not the one that got hit, the one that hit him. And I said, well, I got a strap on me he's asking for. He goes, give it to him. You know, and I did. And when he went to go handle the vato, because he told him, hey, the vato wouldn't come near him. And he's telling him, come on, hey, you're strapped, I'm strapped now. Let's do this shit. And what that coward did was, there was some blacks walking by and he sucker punched one of the blacks and got his fucking ass whooped for it too. And, you know, it almost caused some shit. Luckily, some of the blacks that were around, they had saw when that lame whacked the homie in the back. And so when their homies like try to move, he was like, no. This dude, he said, that's a PC move. That's a PC move. He don't want to see that other essay. And so luckily it didn't turn into something, right? But he was saying that was my subscriber was saying that dude, he was from the Brats. He was saying that he was his Sally, right? And he mentioned another homie. And this is a cool ass homie. Straight up hitter, soldado, right? And he was from San Diego. I'm just going to say San Diego, right? And he happened to be a white dude, but he was a homie from a barrio, everything, right? And this homie, and I'm telling you guys this story because, as always, I'm giving you a glimpse of what prison really is. For those of you that think it's, hey, I get to hang out on the yard and work out with the homies, and there's a bunch of camaraderie and this and this and that. Hey, Holmes, all I do is let you know what prison life really is, eh? And if you find it fascinating, I promise you, there's a fucking bunk open for every one of you that think that shit's cool. But let me just let you know what's in store. Okay, so yeah, the homie, San Diego. You know, he had did a pegada. He had hit somebody. He had whacked somebody. Went to the back, the hole. And he had been assessed his shoe term. While he was there, waiting to catch the chain to Pelican Bay, the DA decided they were going to pick up his case, right? So he goes up to Pelican Bay and he's up there waiting for his, a court hearing. And His court hearing comes up. And so you're notified. When you're up there, they're notified, hey, you need to pack your stuff. You're going to be going to court. Well, one thing about New Folsom, and remember, this was back when all of the legends for every faction were slammed down. Stuck in Pelican Bay, Corcoran. At the time, Tehachapi wasn't even open as a shoe. It was just a prison yard, right? And one thing about New Folsom is there was always at least one legend, an Ad Sag, and he'd be over there housed in A6. For some reason, they would never put him in A5. A5 was a knucklehead block. They would put him in A6. And so this is how it was done. So San Diego is going to come back down to New Folsom for court. So the building he was in had several legends. And so he lets them know, hey, I'm going back down there. You know, is there anything you need? And they say, yeah, you know, you got this case. It's all good. It's freedom, but we need you to pick up another case too, because we need to bring some people down and have some, you know, some discussions. And so make sure you catch another case. He said, fine. So he goes down. San Diego comes down, and it was, he landed back during the time. Let me just say this. He comes down. There was somebody who used to be somebody very important that was no good now, and he worked on a facility in the dental office. And so San Diego signed up for dental because we knew who worked where. And when you're in Ad Sag, when you're in the hole, you're on A yard, but you're in the hole. You're segregated. Any workers in medical, anything like that you see, they were no good. But you see, San Diego wasn't going to waste his time on nobody that wasn't important, right? Nobody that wasn't worth any points. So he signed up for dental. And they escorted him to dental. They put you in waist chains and shackles, right? So San Diego gets escorted in there. When he gets in the dental chair, there's a cop that stays on the side of the wall where you're going to be seated. And then there's the other cop that stays by the door. And San Diego is having a conversation with the cop. The cop's talking to him. He takes out his handcuff key. While he's talking to the officer, he takes off his handcuffs. And then he takes off his shackles. And the cop is just watching him, talking, having a conversation with him. And when that inmate worker came in, the one that used to be a real somebody, he walked in. San Diego jumped up, pulled his piece out, which he had cut from his door, steel. And he tells the cop, this ain't for you. And the cop stepped right out of the way. And San Diego ran up on the guy, the inmate worker, and plunged the knife into his chest. The inmate worker survived because the piece got stuck in the bone in his chest. Dude took off. San Diego did his thing. He caught another case. Goes back to the bay, comes back down. And when he came back down during a time of, we'll say, a vacuum, where the leadership back there was an issue that came up, and there was a vote for the leadership to step down, and nothing else other. It was just a bad call was made, and it riled the people up, right? So, anyways, then San Diego lands, and at this point, San Diego has a lot of support from a lot of legends, and he has a list of legends that he's going to be calling down for his case, and the blessings from all of them that When you land down there, the spot is yours. Luckily, there was nobody in play, so he didn't have to step on toes. Mind you, San Diego has done several different hits. He just did this kamikaze hit, which was a very impressive hit, you know, being who it was he moved on, the way that he did it, the brazenness of the hit, the fact that had that piece not got stuck, he would have more than likely killed the dude on the spot. He gets there, and this was when the riot had just happened on beef facility in New Folsom. So we were all slammed down. Everybody in Ad Sag was even locked down. No yard, nothing. And San Diego gets there. And he lets it be known the spot was his. And anyone that had any questions could get at, and he gave a list of names. Anybody has any questions of his authority, here's who you get at, eh? And nobody had a problem with it. But one dude from San Diego, this vato actually got on the tier laughing. And his exact words were, "Ain't no white boy ever gonna run my program." And I know I was shocked. Regardless of what his ethnicity was, not only was he a homie, but he was a well-established homie. He was a camarada. He had already earned his status as a camarada. He had the blessings of a whole lot of very, very, very important person. And this individual from his same county is talking about, because he's white, he has no say-so. And the shocking thing is the one that said it had a C number. For those of you that don't understand what that means, is he had entered the California Department of Corrections a lot earlier than the rest of us there. C numbers were issued in the late 70s and early 80s. This is 1996. This cat, for him to say that, was pretty fucking amazing. And he was a big dude. Well, San Diego, the one that had the spot, got on the tier the same way that vato was disrespectful. He got on the tier and he said, "Hey, Holmes, I'm gonna send you a sell move slip. We're gonna sell up. And you know what time it is. You think I don't have authority? Then come on in here and let's find out." This was a challenge issued on the tier for every faction to hear. This was something basically, come in the cell, one of us is going to die. The older homie had no right, no authority, no reason to get on the tier and disrespect someone who was put in place by the legends. Luckily for him, everything was locked down and he was transferred out before what was gonna happen happened to him. But he wound up fucking up, not surprisingly, in Salinas Valley, not too long after that. Prison is not a joke. All these vatos that want to act like, oh, that vato, he's not raza, he can't say this and he can't say that. When someone is given the blessings, for you to question that person is to question who put them there. Some vatos seem to forget or just didn't understand that. Again, this is just another glimpse into the realities of being housed inside the California Department of Corrections. San Diego picked up a lot of years for a lot of stickings. The homie that reminded me of this, my subscriber that got at me through IG, he knows damn well, having come from Old Folsom and being placed right there with us, he very well could have been in that same boat, that same situation where something happens and his number gets pulled. It's time for you to do something. And being that he came from Old Folsom, he didn't have to do all day. He wasn't doing life like the rest of us, but he very well could have been. And for all of you that think crime in it is cool, being in the streets is cool, packing guns, robbing, shooting, killing, stabbing is cool. You know, I thought so too, because I was young. And when we're young, we think a lot of shit's cool. And then you get behind those walls and time keeps ticking. Time keeps ticking. And situations arise around you. Sometimes you're a willing participant in it. Other times you're being hated on. But you still have to see everything for what it is. And you still have to be maneuvering, repositioning, having the conversations necessary. Conversations you don't want to have. Because you need to see the person's facial expressions. You need to read their body language when you're conversing with them. Prison ain't a game, Holmes. Not at all. But there's always a vacancy for those who think it's cool. For those who can't find camaraderie, I'm over here talking like Kali Muscle. For those that can't find camaraderie out here on the streets, that can't find love of family on the streets, and think it's really in the streets. And when I say on the streets, I'm talking about with your family. And they seek it in the streets, the criminal world. It ain't there. It's not there at all. Because in that world, self-preservation is paramount. It's number one. Your best friend will slit your throat in order to make sure his doesn't get slit. That's a fact. It's my video for today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.